Good evening, you're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq sends a cable of greetings to the President of the Republic of Bolivia on electing him as the new president of his country. And the Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden takes a lead over President Donald Trump in the presidential race. Those were the headlines. Now for the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq sent a cable of greetings to His Excellency Luis Alberto Arce, President of the Republic of Bolivia, on the occasion of electing him as the new president of his country. Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden took a lead over President Donald Trump in the battleground state of Georgia for the first time early today, putting the White House within his reach as other undecided states continue to count ballots. 77-year-old Biden would become the next president by winning Pennsylvania or winning 2 out of the trio of Georgia, Nevada, and Arizona. Trump's path appears narrower. He needs to hang into both Pennsylvania and Georgia, and also to overtake Biden in either Nevada or Arizona. Trump has seen his lead steadily shrink in Georgia, a southern state that has not voted for a Democratic presidential nominee since 1992, as officials worked through tens of thousands of uncounted votes, many from Democratic strongholds such as Atlanta. Georgia will have to sift through votes from military personnel and overseas residents, as well as provisional ballots cast on election day by voters who had problems with the registration or identification. Greece will go back into lockdown from tomorrow for 3 weeks to battle a second wave of the coronavirus. Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis announced that it was a difficult decision, but measures must be taken for 3 weeks to overcome this second wave. Under the measures, Greeks can only leave their homes if they make an official request via mobile phone and then receive an authorization. Only essential shops, including supermarkets and pharmacies, can stay open when the lockdown starts from tomorrow at 6 a.m. The new lockdown comes as the daily tally of the coronavirus cases continue to grow. The number of patients hospitalized on ventilators has more than doubled in a month, from 82 on October 4th to 169 on Wednesday. Ethiopia's Prime Minister today defended military operations against the country's well-armed Tigray region, asserting that months of patiently trying to resolve differences have failed. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed asserted that the military operations have clear, limited, and achievable objectives to restore the rule of the law and constitutional order. The northern Tigray region was increasingly cut off as Ethiopia's Civil Aviation Authority said that starting today, airports in the regional capital Mekelle, along with the regional cities of Shire, Aksum, and Humera, were closed for any services. The Tigray region borders Eritrea, which fought a years-long border war with Ethiopia before the two countries made peace in 2018, shortly after Abiy took the office. The rain-heavy remnants of Hurricane Eta flooded homes from Panama to Guatemala as the death toll across Central America rose to 57. Aid organizations warned the flooding and mudslides were creating a slow-moving humanitarian disaster across the region. The storm that hit Nicaragua as a mighty Category 4 hurricane on Tuesday had become more of a tropical rainstorm, but it was advancing so slowly and dumping so much rain that much of Central America remained on high alert. On Thursday afternoon, Guatemalan President Alejandro Giammattei said a water-soaked mountainside in the central part of the country, burying homes and leaving at least 25 dead. A further 17 have been reported to have been killed in the mudslide in the country. Still to come on News Bulletin. The 18th annual Camel Race Festival is concluded in the Wilayat of Thimrit. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. Board of Directors of Capital Market Authority reviewed the comprehensive strategic plan for the period of 2021 to 2025, its implementation on plans, as well as approving amendments of some provisions of the organizational chart of the authority and its specializations. The board, during its meeting, also discussed the approach towards decentralization in terms of boosting the economy, investment, and trade based on Oman Vision 2040. The board followed up with the main projects that the authority is implementing, topped by securities draft law. It also got acquainted with the balance sheet data, revenues, and expenditure of the authority. The board as well reviewed the performance of the public joint stock companies during the third quarter of this year. The meeting was chaired by His Excellency Sultan bin Salim Al-Habsi, Minister of Finance and Chairman of the Board of Directors of the Capital Market Authority. The number of COVID-19 inpatients in Nezwa Hospital increased due to some individuals not adhering to the precautionary measures, which in return reflected negatively on the health services in the hospital. More details on the following report.
Laxity in compliance with the preventive measures is reflected negatively on the health situation in hospitals across the country. In Nezwa Hospital, there is an increase in the number of coronavirus inpatients, as well as an increase in the number of infected patients at the intensive care unit.
For the past 10 months, the world has started to suffer from pandemic of COVID-19. This pandemic had its own negative impacts in all sectors, the health, economy, and social sectors, as well as the learning and teaching. The number of cases is increasing daily all over the world, and the severity of the cases are also increasing. So we like to ask everybody to be responsible in preventing the transmission of this disease between people in the community and to adhere to all the instructions.
Such increase creates a great burden on everyone to serve the infected patients and the other patients who have different health conditions and to ensure the safety of all.
We had recently noted that the number of COVID cases being admitted to the ward has increased significantly, and that has led us to open a new ward to accommodate this increment in the COVID cases. Not also that, in addition, we have noted also that the number of critical intubated cases also has increased. This has overwhelmed our staff to deal with such big increase in the number of COVID cases, and especially the ventilated critical cases. And we know already that the staff, the health workers overall, they have been working with this situation since more than seven months. and they are already exhausted and overwhelmed.
We started in Nizwa Hospital video call for patients who are admitted in hospital and who don't have any communication with their families. And we started this one to, first of all, for patient his condition will be right and he's able to talk with families, and families also will be happy to see their father or mother, they are in good condition.
Caution and full compliance is the key to give a helping hand to the medical staff who have been providing round-the-clock care to the patients since the start of the pandemic. By vigilantly applying the precautionary measures, wearing face masks, maintaining physical distancing, and keeping our hands clean, we will play a big role to curb the spread of coronavirus. From Nizwa Hospital, صالح بن خلفان الرحبي, الداخلية, Governorate.
Oman oil price January 2021 recorded a decline by 27 cents, amounting to $40.94 per barrel compared to yesterday price, which reached $41.21 per barrel. The average price of Oman crude oil November 2020 delivery reached $41.60 per barrel, thus $2.72 lower than the price of October 2020 delivery. Ministry of Labor launched a new electronic service for the registration of non-Omani labor. The new service will enable employers to register the employment contracts for their staff in the ministry's portal. Registration can be made for new workers upon their arrival, for workers whose service is terminated or renewed, and for the workers whose permitted job is amended. The new service provides the chance to amend the contract, which requires a consent form from the worker using his ID card or phone. Higher Education Admission Center announced the results of the second round for applications to study in higher education institutions for the academic year 2021-2022. The number of scholarship offers in the second round reached 5,888. Successful candidates can review and accept suitable offers to finalize their applications starting from next Sunday until Thursday, November the 12th, 2020. The system shows that the number of seats offered this year reached 28,367, out of which 26,787 students finalized their admission to higher education institution, comprising of 74% of the total successful applicants. The second phase of the 18th annual Camel Race was concluded in the Wilayat of Thimrit. The festival was organized by the Royal Camel Corps at the Royal Court Affairs. The competition attracted a huge participation from camel owners and stakeholders who attended the event. The event included 6 rounds under 2 race categories for 3 and 4 kilometers. This event witnessed a fierce and splendid competition from the contenders. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's news bulletin, here are the main points once again. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq sends a cable of greetings to the President of the Republic of Bolivia on electing him as the new president of his country. And the Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden takes a lead over President Donald Trump in the presidential race. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, it's good night.